Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 at Alpha Victor Papa Wilkes-Barre Scranton International in the Cessna C152. We have a 42 nautical mile circuit visiting two of my favorite fields before returning back to AVP. We'll be going to 7-6 November Skyhaven and 9 November 3 Seamans Field, which is the very first airport that I did a cross-country flight to. We've got the autumn colors from Rex AccuSeason and the realism from JPLogistics C152. Should be an awesome flight, so let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Our seatbelts are fastened. We'll head down here and get the fuel selector to on. Next, we will go down here and get our feet on the brakes. Pull the parking brake on. Next, we'll verify that all of our circuit breakers are in, switches are off, they are. We'll go over here and get the mixture into full rich, verify that the carb heat is in and cold. We'll prime it, 1, 2, 3 strokes of the primer. Crack the throttle. We'll check that the prop is clear, clear prop. Back down here, we'll get the battery master on and turn on the beacon. Feet are on the brakes. And we have ignition. RPMs will good at 1,000. Down here we've got oil pressure, so that's all looking good. Head over here and lean the mixture for ground operations. We've got the alternator on. We'll get the taxi and landing lights on while we're here. And next we'll head over to the panel and turn on the avionics. Okay, COM1, COM2 are on. And it's a little bit loud and a little bit cold out today, so let's head over to the window here and we'll close that up. Lock that. Alright, that's good. Alright, as we get the weather and get everything dialed in here, I'll open up for flight and take you through the flight brief. You can see that we're flying in a big rectangle, departing from AVP, which is a class Delta. If we open up the weather, the winds are 180 at 3, becoming 220 at 3, so south to west, so we're expecting to get assigned runway 22. AVP is a Delta, but it's actually in a Tersa. So if we request flight falling, then tower will hand us off to approach, which is managed by the Tersa. So we are going to look for falls, which is the bend in the Susquehanna River. That'll be our top of descent. And then we're going to descend, most likely for a left downwind, for runway 19 to Skyhaven. Skyhaven has no wind info, it just uses AVP. It is a very short field. It's a little over 2,000 feet and it's only 50 feet wide, so we'll be doing a short field landing there. On departure, we're going to look for Route 6 and follow it to our next destination, which is Seamans Field. Again, a fairly short runway, so we'll configure for a short field landing there as well. I'm hoping to get runway 22 because that has a beautiful approach over Lake Sheridan. So we'll check out the windsock and hopefully the wind will be in our favor. Then we're going to head south following Route 11. That will take us directly to the Electric City, Scranton, Pennsylvania. And once we reach Scranton, we're going to turn for runway 22 and hopefully that'll still be in use. That's what approach and tower will assign us and do a landing back at 22. If you've ever flown out of AVP in any flight sim, you may have encountered what seemed to be a bug where you could not dial in the ATIS. So you see, I've got 13575 dialed into COM1. That is the current ATIS frequency for Wilkes-Barre Scranton as of this year. Prior to this year, it was on 111.6, which was broadcast over their VOR, and you could only tune into with your nav radio. So I recall never being able to tune into 111.6 in the sim because comm radios don't go that low, and that's because that's how it is in real life. It was broadcast over the VOR. They changed that this year, so now you use a standard comm frequency to get it. Alright, next we'll toggle over to ground on 121.9er and request flight falling. Wilkes-Barre ground, Cessna 565 Whiskey. We are a C152 slant alpha. located at Aviation Technologies, we'd like to set up flight falling to Skyhaven 76 November at 3000 with information India. Okay, squawk 2313, departure frequency 120.905, Cessna 565 Whiskey. We have a super short flight to Skyhaven, which is why we're only climbing to 3000. If we used a standard westerly altitude of 4500, we would never reach it before we had to start our descent. Wilkes-Barre ground, Cessna 565 Whiskey, ready to taxi. Taxi and hold short, runway 22 via Bravo, cross runway 10, Cessna 565 Whiskey. Alright, game on. If you've been following my channel, you'll know that in real life I've flown in and out of AVP many times, flying a Cessna Skyhawk, so a C152 instead of a 152. And the two fields that we're going to, I've been to in real life as well. 76 and Skyhaven is an awesome field, and I have a great video from practicing short field landings there. I'll put the link up here and in the video details if you want to check it out. Seamans Field was the very first field that I did a cross-country to with my flight instructor. Also a short field with an incredibly scenic approach right over Sheridan Lake. So that was a lot of fun and challenging. So I'm really looking forward to this flight today and checking out all of the autumn colors that we have from Rex AccuSeasons Advanced, and also seeing if I can stick the same landings in the sim, which in some ways is actually harder than doing it in real life. Okay, we're here at the hold short lines for runway 22. We'll get the parking brake set. Now we'll verify that the flight controls are free and correct. Next we'll move on to the mag check. We've got mag left, we've got a good drop on mag left, back to both. Mag right, got a good drop, same amount, back to both. Carb heat on, and we've got a drop from that, within range, carb heat back off. Wilkes-Barre Tower, Cessna 565 Whiskey, holding short, runway 22 at Bravo 6. Cleared for takeoff, runway 22 at Bravo 6, Cessna 565 Whiskey. Alright. I love the autumn scenery here. So we'll get all lined up here. When you're used to taking off from 3,000 foot untowered field runways, taking off from a 7,000 foot towered field runway is downright luxurious. Airspeed's alive, gauges look good, and rotate. Nice takeoff. So we're running with real weather as always. I did shift the time back a little now that it gets dark. You know, after 4, every night would be a night flight if I didn't do that. So we're about 3 hours in the past for time. Alright, we are making our initial turn, so we are flying headings for this, right? No autopilot, we're a slant alpha. And over to my left here, I've seen this site a million times. We've got the Susquehanna River, and you can't quite see it, but Whiskey Bravo Whiskey, which is my flight school, is just underneath the strut there. Alright, tower handed me off to approach, so we'll toggle over to 120.95 and say Wilkes-Barre approach, Cessna 565 Whiskey, level 3100. And we are on track, so let's sit back and enjoy that awesome flight simulator scenery. Alright, as always, that was a lot of fun. It was so cool flying to those airports in the sim that I've been to in real life and getting to try the same landings. They actually worked out pretty well in the C152, as did the short field takeoffs. So that was very cool and very realistic. Speaking of realistic, I hope you enjoy realistic general aviation flying like this. If you do, be sure to leave me a comment, click that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.